Hey guys, my name is Mitch Webb. I'm a health and healing coach. And today I'm going to be talking about two things that you can do, two steps that you can take to become aware of your body signals. Now, before I get started, I'm going to introduce myself. This is actually my first video that I've done on YouTube, so I'm really excited to be here and thank you for tuning in. So I'm a health and healing coach. I got to this world of nervous system healing, healing trauma, neuroplasticity through 20 years of dealing with chronic disease and chronic symptoms like autoimmune, anxiety, gut issues, fatigue, you name it. And I was always looking for the magic pill or the perfect fix, the perfect diet, the perfect exercise, the best biohack that I could do. And what I was not aware of was how nervous system dysfunction can lead to a lot of these chronic symptoms. And so, looking back, I was overriding my natural impulses that my body was trying to communicate to me on how to heal. And I was relying on other people to tell me if I was doing it right, and what my body needed. And it's important to have a guide and help along the way. And ultimately, what I've learned is that we become our own medicine when we follow our natural impulses. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit about that today and sharing two resources that really helped me that you can start to implement right away to get this journey of building capacity, regulating your own nervous system, and healing, becoming your own medicine if you're dealing with chronic symptoms like I was. Now, I did an article on my website. You can find that at mitchwebb.com. It was posted just a couple days ago, and today is the 19th of December in 2024, coming up on Christmas here. The article was called The Jungle of Healing and why breaking free of old patterns can feel so hard. And we compared this Amazon jungle to our nervous system with these well-worn pathways and these survival responses that we have used to do just that, to survive. And that may look like people pleasing, perfectionism, black or white thinking, just to name a few. And it's hard to break away with these patterns because they're so deep that we start to identify with these patterns. We say that I am anxious, I am fatigued, this is who I am a people pleaser, I am anxious, and that's not who we are. That's the coping mechanisms that we have taken on to help ourselves feel safe and survive the Amazon jungle. And so when we come to this work, we kind of fall into two categories. We either feel too much or we don't feel anything at all. The ones that feel too much, we tend to squeeze ourselves up into our head. We think our way to safety. And this is what I was doing with looking for the perfect diet, the perfect exercise, looking for the magic pill or the person to heal me, and ultimately learned it was me. I had so much sensation from here down that I was avoiding that. I was trying to think my way to safety, and ultimately that leads to burnout and fatigue. So what we really want to do is we want to connect with the body. And today I've got two tips that you can implement to start that process, to start that dialogue with the body, so that we can start to follow our own impulses. Okay, and ultimately become our own medicine, because now we're listening to our body and we're doing what we need instead of what other people are telling us or what we think we need. Okay. So, again, the antidote to dysfunction would be listening to the body. And then the first way we do that is through orienting. Okay. There are two types of orienting. One is defensive orienting. You're going to know what that is right away. And so, say you're at a baseball game, a ball's hit, it's hitting your direction, it's coming really quickly, you don't get a chance to see it. And then at the last minute, you see it, it's coming into your sight, it's right here. What's the first thing that we do? Right? We're gonna block it. We're gonna defensive orient. Thank goodness for that. Okay. Now, when we have had a lot of stress that's unprocessed, right, we say the issues are in the tissues. So we store stress in the body if we don't release it. And so whenever we have that stored stress in the body, we can start to have this perception of danger. And so we are whether we know it or not, we're activated. There's an active threat, and our body is mobilizing hormones and different sensations that let us know there's a threat to be attuned that we should take care of. Now, in nature, we see animals complete this cycle very easily, right? So, say a deer is hanging out, he's chilling, drinking some water, wolf starts chasing the deer. All right. Well, the deer is going to run for its life. It's going to mobilize all those stress hormones, fight, flight. It's going to do everything it can to get away. And if it does, it successfully gets away from the threat, then the animal can just come down. So they go from this activated, sympathetic drive to fight for its life. And once the threat is gone, it shakes it off. It comes back into a window of tolerance, and there's no more stress. Now, with humans, we get taught that this activation is bad. Anxiety is bad. You need to take a medication. It doesn't feel good, so we do everything that we can to avoid it. We get busy. We distract ourselves. We numb ourselves, right? And so that's why a lot of us that are dealing with chronic illness, we're just stuck. We're stuck in activation or we're stuck in shutdown. If we stay in activation long enough, that's in our sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic brings on the dorsal branch of the parasympathetic nervous system that is called functional freeze, and so it puts a clamp on that activation to preserve energy so that we don't burn out, and that clamp can cause things like autoimmune, slowing of motility, and gut issues, and because we're avoiding the stresses in our body. So the way to start to listen to the body again is we want the other type of orienting. So if we're constantly defensive orienting, perceiving or looking for a threat to fight off, then we want to bring in some exploratory orienting. Now, exploratory orienting would be looking around your environment to see what's going on. Okay. And with this exploratory orienting, if we have been so focused on the sensations in our body that feel too intense, a way to come down or to feel more support is to put that attention on the outside. So it's not here all the time, right? So if we're constantly defensive orienting to our own bodily sensations, we can see how that can keep us in a stress loop. So to break out of that, we want to externally orient. And a good way to do that is to use the senses, right? So the first thing we can do is we can feel our feet on the ground, right? We can feel our butt in a chair. We can feel our back up against the chair. We can feel what is supporting us in this moment. So that's one layer. We could also notice the breath. Now, if you've been in the health space for long enough, you may know a right way and a wrong way to breathe, right? Maybe the right way is breathing in the belly and making sure you don't breathe in the chest. And I would say that instead of trying to do it right, let's just observe what's going on and see what information can we get. Am I breathing in my belly? Am I breathing in my chest? Am I not breathing at all? And we just want to stay with that breath without changing it and see what happens from there. A lot of times things will shift and we want to pay attention to those shifts. Okay, so another form of orientation would be to auditory orienting, so to listen. And so right now, if you can do what we were doing before, feel your feet on the ground, feel your butt in the chair, and then just listen to your environment. What do you hear? Right? Do you hear the hum of the computer? Is there some music on nearby you? Is there wildlife or cars going by? So you can just orient to what's going on in your environment while feeling your butt in your chair, and then also noticing your breath. All right. So we've brought in sound, we've brought in touch, we've brought in breath. Those are all three really good places to start with orienting. And so if we notice ourselves getting ramped up, going into our head, trying to figure something out, ruminating, we know that ruminating and engaging in that rumination keeps us stuck. So if we can recognize, oh, I'm ruminating, I'm going back into this old pattern. And so now I'm just going to bring myself back to now, back to here. Feel my feet on the ground. Notice what's going on in my environment. Notice my breath. Feel what's supporting me. And as I do that, I take a deep breath. That was not rehearsed, right? I'm practicing along as I'm doing this with you. So orienting is a great place to start. And you can do this when you're in the car. You can do it when you're walking. You can do it as soon as you wake up in the morning to see what's going on and just be in your environment. It brings us back into our body so that we can be here instead of trying to focus on the past, projecting it out onto the future, or trying to prevent something from happening in the future. Right? That's control. That's living in our head. We want to be here now. The juiciness of the present moment, and being here now instead of ruminating, can help our system start to calm down. Now, number two, we want to the number two, the another solution for reconnecting with the body is going to be following impulse, right? And so it's literally just listening. So the orienting is a way to get us into the body so that we can listen and follow and sense an impulse. And we may have listened and relied on external resources or external validation for much of our life. And so we start small with impulses, right? And you may say impulses are bad, right? My impulses are to smoke a cigarette or have a drink or to check out and numb myself. That's something to notice too, right? Um, but the way that we start to follow impulse is just with really easy bodily sensations. So that means if we're thirsty, drinking some water. If we're hungry, eating. If we feel like we need to go to the bathroom, we go to the bathroom. How many times have you ignored these bodily signals until the last minute and it becomes urgent? Oh my gosh, I'm going to pee in my pants if I don't find a bathroom right now. Well, that happens because we've ignored our bodily sensations for so often, for so long, right? It's the end of the day and I haven't eaten it all. Okay, so we've ignored this urge to eat all day long, and so now our stress hormones are going up, right? So I'm trying to fast, and if I fast in the morning, my adrenaline, my cortisol, it's going to go up and up and up. That may feel good in the beginning, but when that's done long term and chronically, that's going to drive cortisol to make it hard to sleep, make us not want to eat, and we have this accumulation of stress hormones in the body, and then we wonder why we're feeling anxious or we can't sleep at night. So, what we want to start to do is follow those impulses when we feel them, right? So, we want to be able to notice our feet on the ground, feel our butt in the chair, be in this environment, and start to go, oh, I have an impulse to have some water, to have some food. Eventually, as these build, and the more that we connect with the body starts to go, oh, he's doing that thing that I've been wanting him to do forever, right? So now we learn to say no. We learn to set boundaries. I don't want to be around this person. So we take the old pattern of people pleasing and being perfect, and instead of doing what we think we need to do to feel safe, we start to follow our impulse and give ourselves what we need. That is the process of becoming your own medicine. And I promise you that if you start to orient and follow your own impulse, not only will you learn to reconnect with the body, listen to its signals, but we can start to come out of that unstuckness and begin the process of healing the body. Now, if this sounds overwhelming and you don't know where to start, that's where I come in. I do one-on-one coaching. I help my clients heal their nervous system, build capacity, regulate, and ultimately learn how to regulate their own emotions so that they can get unstuck. And then from there, we learn to follow our impulse so that we can create a diet, an exercise, biohacking, whatever processes we need to heal our body. That becomes a whole lot easier when we're listening to our impulse instead of relying on someone else. So that's what I do as a coach. I facilitate that reconnecting process where we're learning to listen to our body again so we can follow our impulse, give ourselves what we need, and that's how we heal. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like the video, give it a like, a follow. See me, come check me out over at mitchwebb.com, and I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram at kmitchwebb.